Hi, it's John here from GPS Training and welcome to the latest walk and talk. Today I'm in a wonderful village of Alnham. Alnham Church is just behind me. I'm just going to go on a 7-mile walk to something called Shepherd's Cairn. I'll tell you more about it when we get there, but it's a fascinating story. Now, I'm going to do something slightly different. I've got a bit of a hidden secret here. I'm a bit of a trig point bagger as well. So I've got my book and there's a trig point near the route. So what I'm actually going to do is go out, bag a trig point, and then I'm going to jump back on to the walk. Now, this is often quite hard to do with what we call a leg when we're planning it with a Garmin GPS device. Is you go out and then come back. Sometimes the GPS gets a little bit confused. So what I've done this time is I've planned a walk, a route out to the trig point, and then I've planned the rest of my walk taking in Shepherd's Cairn. So I'm going to show you in a few seconds how I did that on the computer and got that onto the GPS device. But the most important thing is, what is the GPS that we're navigating with today? It is the Garmin GPSMAP 65s. If anybody's read any of the reviews, I always say it's the best budget GPS unit currently on the market. A great little GPS unit, and it's that plays very much with the big boys, doesn't it? So let's have a look at how I planned the route yesterday on our free Ordnance Survey Route planning software. So to plan the route on our free Ordnance Survey route planning software, just go to our website, which is gpstraining.co.uk, and we'll just click on OS Planner at the top. So the walk today is going to be started at a place called Alnham. So in the search box at the top, just type in Alnham and then press the go. It brings up Alnham in Northumberland. So it's going to be a slightly different route today. So what a GPS doesn't like is going out on what we call a leg and coming back on a leg. So I want to incorporate a bit of trig point bagging into my walk today. So what I'm going to do is just plan a route out to my trig point, and then I'm going to create another route that is the remainder of my walk. So what I'm going to do is just start here. I'm literally going to plan my walk out along this footpath. And initially, instead of going on the walk out I'm originally going to finish up doing, I'm just going to plan it out using the open access areas on the 125,000 map. It gives me this information up to Hart Law. So this is going to be leg 1, Hart Law. I'm just going to quick look, it's just like 1.5 miles. So I'm just going to put that 1.5 miles, just for my interest. And then I'm going to just download that GPX file down onto my computer. Then I'm going to go back to the free route planning software. I'm going to clear the route I've just done, and I'm going to plan my route back from Hart Law, back down, and then jump on the existing route I was going to do, which is this up Salters Road here. So I'm going to call this Shepherd's Cairn. Again, it's 5.8 miles this. It's a quick look down, 44 waypoints, that's no problem. And I just download that to my computer. So I've got those two routes. I've got my route out to my trig point, and then I've got my route back there. So all I need to do is just go to the download section on my Mac. Again, it's exactly the same if you're a PC user. Just go to your download section and you'll see my my two walks. There's actually 3. So just copy those 2. I'm literally going to just copy those onto my computer. I'm going to click on the Garmin GPS, which is there. It's a 65s. Click on the Garmin folder. Again, what I'm looking for now is GPX, because they're going to go into a folder called GPX. There's my GPX folder. And I'm literally going to just paste them into here. Paste the 2 items into there. My leg 1 and my Shepherd's Cairn. And now they're on my GPS device. Always just check they're on there before you set off. We're ready to start our walk. So before we start walking today, we've got to do 2 things on the Garmin GPSMAP 65s. First of all, we need to reset our trip and track data. Trip computer tells you how far we walked, average speed, etc, etc. And the track is the breadcrumb trail our GPS leaves behind us. So what we need to do on this unit is that we need to just go to the trip computer page. While we're on there, we just press the menu button, which is this one down here. Press menu, we press enter on reset. We come down to reset both, where it says clear trip and track data. Press enter on that. It says, are you sure? We select yes. and that's all sorted then. So now when we go back to our trip computer, you can see everything's set back to 0 and it's started to count down at the bottom, 8 seconds, 9 seconds, etc, etc. Next thing we need to do is load that route that we planned on the computer. We just press the find button. We come along to routes. Okay, and there's my leg one to Hart Law, which is that trig point. Just enter on that. It overlays it on the map. It says it's going to be 1.4 miles out to that trig point, and I just press enter on go. And then that will now navigate us out to that trig point, won't it? So what do we need to do? We either follow the arrow on the top of the map page, or alternatively, we can navigate on the compass page and follow that big arrow, and that will navigate us out to that trig point. One thing about bagging trig points is usually on the top of hills, aren't they? So we've always got a lot of climbing to do. Just to kind of get you a bit of geography of where we are. We're in the Coker Valley in Cokerdale. You can see in the background, we've got the Simonside Hills, which is the high hills just south of Rothbury, which is where GPS training is based. So I've done quite a few walking talks that go on the Simonside Hills, but we've come a little bit further up the valley, and there's a lovely village called Alnham. A few of these villages in the Coker Valley, just very small, literally a dozen houses, but they've all got these lovely little churches on it. So I'm just going to continue on my way, onwards and upwards, and fingers crossed we can quickly bag that trig point. So here we are, the Summit of Hart Law, and another trig point. If people don't know, because I know a lot of people from around the world, not just in the UK, watch these videos. So in the UK, we have what we call trig points, which is on the top of hills. Well, they're not always on the top of the hills, but the majority of the time. And it's how Ordnance Survey mapped the countryside. It is. So have these trig points, which are fixed heights on the Ordnance Survey map. They're a triangle, and they've all got a name, and they were used when we were mapping the countryside. Now, with the advent of GPS, now redundant, they're no longer used, but they're left on the top. Now, this is a very strange one because I've never ever seen this before, but somebody's got a webcam or a camera up here, so this is not normally on the top. There's a solar panel powering a little camera, and I see it's got a transponder, so I don't know, when I get back I'll have to research exactly why that is, or if we can find it online, or whether it's just a farmer that's just put it up for his own personal entertainment. Stunning views of the Coker Valley, and yeah, it's another trig point bagged. I think there's 122 in Northumberland trig points, so I'm working my way through all of them. But now I've done this one, we're going to reload the route in, the second route, and we're going to head back over this way, looking for Shepherd's Cairn. So where does the Garmin GPSMAP 65s sit in the portfolio of GPS units? It's an interesting GPS unit really, because the background was it used to be Garmin's only button GPS unit. So we had a 60 series, 62, 64, and now we actually jumped to the 66 series, which is a slightly larger screen. It's a 3-inch screen rather than a 2.6-inch screen that we find on this unit. And people miss this slightly smaller GPS unit. So Garmin actually brought it out after the 66S came out. They brought out the 65S out. Now the nice thing was they put some of the new technology into this GPS unit. So we have what's called multi-band on the unit, which means that it works off the 5 satellite systems, and it takes 2 bands off each satellite system. So the only other unit currently in the Garmin's portfolio that does that is the 66SR, which is a slightly larger GPS unit, considerably more expensive, and it has that built-in battery. So this one still runs off AA batteries. It's multi-band. The interface is near enough identical as what we saw on the 62 and 64, but again with this multi-band and the increased the updates that were put into this unit, it's a hugely popular GPS unit. Why is it so popular? A, the price. It comes in a very competitive price. As I said at the start, we call it a budget GPS. It's right at the top end of that budget GPS unit. But a lot of ultra eventers and people are doing a lot of long distance trails like this unit because they can run it off AA batteries. And we're having that slightly smaller screen. You get really good battery life. You can hear it keep pinging. That's me keep going over a waypoint. So every time we hit a waypoint, it notifies me, so it's telling me that it's en route. Again, if I get another alarm, which we may hear sometimes, it tells me that we're off route. So really nice to be back navigating with a route, because again, I don't need to keep looking at it. It's just keep reassuring me that we're on the right course as such. So cracking GPS unit. Hugely popular, you know, again, a lot of GPS for the money that you get for it. And again, this one I've got 125,000 mapping on it. You need to kind of make sure that you buy it with Ordnance Survey mapping, whether it's 150,000 mapping or 125,000 mapping. It does come preloaded with a topo active mapping, which is Garmin's European mapping. It's great in some parts of the UK, but not great in England and Wales, because again, we need to be walking on footpaths and bridleways because we do have trespass laws. The problem with the topo active mapping that's built into these units is it shows everything as a path. It doesn't say if it's a footpath, bridleway, or frankly a private drive. So we really need to put Ordnance Survey mapping on these units. And one of the big mistakes people make is you need to buy that mapping at the time of the GPS purchase because you get a discounted rate. A lot of people go off and buy the GPS unit, realise it's not got OS mapping. A 150,000 map card currently is £200, and a 125,000 map currently recommended retail price is £350. But when you buy them in with the unit, you get them at a significantly cheaper price. For example, this unit with a 1 to 50,000 mapping, you get your map card for half price, £100 rather than £200. So don't make the mistake of buying the unit without the mapping. Buy it in with the Ordnance Survey mapping if you're buying it in the UK. So fingers crossed you can see the mountains behind us. We have the Cheviot, which is the flat one. One of the distance of flat top is the highest point in Northumberland. That's called the Cheviot. And the range of mountains or hills that we're in is the Cheviot, with the Cheviot being the highest point. If you've seen the walk and talk I did with the Montana 700, I took it to the top of the Cheviot. Did that over in winter time I did. And then the one on the right with a bit of a more rounded top is called Hedgehope. That's the second highest peak in Northumberland. So the Cheviot to the left and Hedgehope to your right. Wonderful skyline. It's actually just starting to rain, believe it or not, so fingers crossed it's just a quick shower that's going to blow through quickly. We're just dropping down now to Shepherd's Cairn, which is, you can see it was joining here. This is the reason for the walk. Is I've never been here before, but the story is that in 1962, two shepherds had been to the local market in Rothbury, which is right at the distance, and they lived on a farm near here. Terrible winter of 1962, and they were on their way back on foot back to usually Shank, which is the farm they were from. And they got caught out in a terrible blizzard, and they actually two perished out here, and this is where their bodies were found. Now, it's quite an instrumental part in search and rescue in Northumberland, because after this point, Northumberland National Park Mountain Rescue Team was actually set up. Because there's no rescue team in 1962 in Northumberland, the local RAF and the police searched the hillside and found the two bodies at this point. So 1962, these two shepherds perished out here in a terrible snowstorm. As you must know, I used to be a hill shepherd myself. Our parent company is still called Shepherd's Walks, so it's actually quite a poignant place to come see this fantastic monument that has been put in place. I've actually said on it exactly what it is: dedicated in memory of the shepherds Jock Scott Willie Middlemans, who perished here in the snow of the 17th of November 1962. So yeah, this is quite a story. If you read back through history, it's actually just makes you realise there was no telephone out here. And actually the shepherd's wife bumped into another shepherd the following day, said, "They've not come home, what's happened?" And that's when the alarm bells rang. They went and got help and started searching. And this is where his body was found, this fantastic memorial in the foothills of the Cheviot Hills. So what a wonderful, looking down the valley, and it's maybe hard for you to see, but no, Rothbury Market. There still is a livestock market there, it doesn't trade anymore. When I first moved to Northumberland many years ago, we used to sell sheep, we used to sell what we call yow lambs at Rothbury Market. It was my big day out. I was allowed to go to the market, push the lambs through the ring, and then my boss used to take me for dinner at the local pub afterwards. So it was a bit start. It was always be September, and it was always the start of my week's holiday. And I used to start my week's holiday after we sold the sheep. So it's quite poignant that you used to sell at Rothbury Mart. And it's 1962. It's not that long ago, is it really? So yeah, high point of the walk, a poignant place, and what a beautiful day to experience it. So this is the landscape where a GPS really comes into its own. So I'm actually following the footpath here. I can see that on my GPS unit, so I can see the footpath. I've got my direction arrow, but as you can see, there's actually nothing on the ground. It's just a hilltop. And you can look at it, I'm heading over to that gate there, I'm heading to that gate there, where am I going? By looking at my GPS unit and looking at the arrow on it, I can see which direction I need to be walking in. So again, this is a real benefit of this open hill ground where just an Ordnance Survey map, I'm really going to struggle with the feet around me. Yeah, I could orientate it and use my compass, but I'm just literally following that arrow on the screen, and it's really quite obvious where I need to be going, and it's fantastic in these kind of walking situations that we're in at the moment. So let's just quickly look through the main pages and the main navigation on this GPSMAP 65s. So what we need to do is press the page button. You see, so you press the page button, we get this menu that goes to the middle. Whichever one we end up on or stop on is the page we eventually go on. Now alternatively, you can press the quit button down the bottom. You can see the ribbon goes one way. So ribbon one way with the quit button, page button it goes the opposite way. So whichever page you want to go on, you stop it and it ends up on that page. So what page have we got? We've got our map page. Map page, we've got the in and out, so we can zoom in and out on the map. I've got the compass rose at the top to show the direction, then we've got the routes. This is a track behind us, the blue, and the route that we planned there on the 125,000 mapping. So we planned on the FreeOS planner on 125,000, is also overlays here on the 125,000 mapping. So, I'll just press that quick one, sorry. Press the page button, compass page, the compass page, the speed we're walking at, distance to your next waypoint, ETA of destination, what time we're going to arrive there, and time to next waypoint. We've got this compass. As you can see, it's got the electronic compass in it, so it will work wherever angle, and we can, when we move it, it orientates accordingly. So again, once we get above a certain speed, we'll actually start using the satellites for this direction. But when we're stationary, it uses the electronic compasses to orientate that. We've got the trip computer, tells you how far we've walked, so 1,000 feet above sea level, we walked just under 5 miles, maximum speed, moving time, moving average, stop time, overall average is all on there. And then we've got our elevation plot, so we can see we're just dropping down to the end of the walk now. Main menu, again, setup, waypoint, this is how we can plan routes on the unit, our track manager, route planner. Only key thing down the bottom is, right down the bottom, we've got our satellites. We can press enter on satellites. We've got a 10-figure grid reference at the top. So NT is our sheet number, the first 5 figures, second 5 figures, BNG, stands for British National Grid. And we can see the GPS signal down at the bottom. 6 feet accuracy. It's absolutely stunning, isn't it? Really brilliant. So, and then that's it, back to the map page. So it's as simple as that. Only thing else you can do is press the power button lightly on the side, and that's how you can alter your backlight. So again, backlight's on quite high there. Down there, it shows a GPS signal down there. It's also got our battery level as well. So again, I said earlier on how good this unit is on batteries. That's exactly, it's absolutely stunning on batteries, as you can see. So that's your main way that you can navigate around this Garmin GPSMAP 65s. We're just dropping back down into the village for the end of the walk. And a couple of things that really made me think over the last 2 or 3 hours we've been out is, it's been quite hard to navigate this walk because there's been no footpaths underfoot. Look where we are now, even walking through a field, there's no footpath underfoot. How would we know where to go? There was a Gatchet guy, I passed one guy about halfway around, and I can see him behind me now. He's all over the place. He's nowhere near the footpaths. I know he's on open access land, but he's nowhere. He's all over the place. We've come across forests that have been down, or I've come across forests that have been down, and I've quickly navigated around by looking at the GPS unit, got myself back on my footpath very, very quickly. And I think this is the key thing with this kind of landscape. I say it's an area I don't know at all. I've not walked here before, so I'm coming completely blind, but I know I can navigate bang on the footpaths. I know I've got the confidence I'm in the right place all the time by using this cracking little GPS unit. Absolutely stunning. Well, the last thing is how we carry it. As you must be know, if you see my walk talks past backpack tether, where I carry it, I stick it on my rucksack strap with Velcro there. It's got a cord on it, so it accidentally falls off. It's only going to fall, a couple of feet, it's not going to hit the ground and smash. So really nice accessory. It keeps my hands free. So I sometimes do walk with poles. You can walk with poles, you can get your map out if you need to. So again, get yourself an accessory if you can get this GPS unit. Other key thing, I know we looked at it earlier on, battery life, phenomenal battery life, easy to use, ultra reliable, fantastic pedigree behind it. So overall, an absolute cracking GPS unit. I would have no qualms about having one and using it as my main GPS unit, 100%. So a really nice GPS unit. So we're just dropping back down into the valley. You can see the church down below. We'll drop back down in the valley, and I'm going to show you how we stop navigating that route, and also how we save that track, which is the record of our trip. So at the end of the day's walking, there's a couple of things we need to do. You can see, first of all, the arrow's pointing the wrong way. That's because we've actually just come past the last waypoint. So again, I suppose I can use the electronic compass to rotate my map. You can see there's my last waypoint, and that's why I just walked past it. So that's why my arrow's pointing the wrong way, still pointing to that last waypoint. So we need to stop navigating that route. So we just press find and then stop navigation. Then the other thing we need to do is save the tracks. Don't forget, we started recording that track at the start, which is that breadcrumb trail that our GPS leaves behind us. So we just go to our main menu. So we just press the page button as long as we end up the main menu. And then we just come down to Track Manager, which is there. Press enter on Track Manager. Press enter on current track, and we just need to save that track there. By default, it gives it the time now, which is 5 to 3. And we just come down. We can rename it if you want to. I'll just leave it like that. Press done. And it exports that track. Okay, save it. Also, it's clear. It says, do you want to clear it? We might as well clear it. It's actually saved, and there's the track there, all saved. So that's us all finished at the end of the day's walking. And notice now that compass page, we've lost the arrow on it, and all the information box at the top, and also on the map page, we've lost the compass rose at the top because we're no longer navigating that route. Many thanks for joining me, and I very much hope you've enjoyed this latest walk and talk from myself, John, from GPS Training. If you've got a Garmin GPSMAP 65s, please leave a comment in the comment box below about what you like about it, and if there's anything you don't like about it. It will help the other viewers of this video. And if there's anything you would like to cover in future videos, please get in touch with myself. And again, leave a comment in the comment box below, and we'll hopefully cover that in future videos. And if we can help you in any way at GPS Training, either teach you how to use your GPS unit on one of our training courses, both online or physical training courses, or if you're thinking about buying a GPS unit, just get in touch with ourselves, and we will help you in whichever way we can. So many thanks for joining me on this latest walk and talk, and again, hopefully see you again in the near future.